Are we ready for a new world order?
What underpins a world order is always the financial system. And it's not about the US versus China. We are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on.
I think if you think what are the tools of the new world, everybody should have a digital ID, everybody should have a bank account, everybody should have a smartphone.
India is building a what? Biometric database for 1.3 billion people, and enrollment is mandatory. In 2017, 9 out of 10 Indians have registered, each assigned a unique number that serves as a digital ID that can be verified with a scan of a thumb or an eye. That was India. Now let's come to America. This bill, March 21st, Improving Digital ID Act of 2023.
Torres warns that the EU's new digital ID is the next step in a process in which the government in Brussels will micromanage every aspect of people's lives.
This is what makes the difference between a tyranny and democracy. When you know everything about what your government does, that's democracy. When the government knows everything about you, that is tyranny.
Let's also be clear. The future is not just happening. The future is built by us.
And what are they building? Make everything digital so we can monitor and control. The Pope said the very same thing. We must prepare the future. Both groups on the same bandwagon, WEF and the Vatican. And what is the Pope calling for? A new economic order. New economic or new world order. April 8th, Pope Francis calls for global COVID-19 recovery plan in message to whom? World Bank and IMF. Trump signs first major federal cryptocurrency bill into law.
With today's signing, we're pushing even further into the exciting new frontier. Just as I promised last year, the Genius Act creates a clear and simple regulatory framework to establish and unleash the immense promise of dollar-backed stable coins. This could be perhaps the greatest revolution in financial technology since the birth of the internet itself.
Watch this carefully. Trump says that he despises CBDC because, his words, CBDC is very dangerous. It could create a situation where your money suddenly disappears from your bank accounts because CBDC is a digital dollar. Stop right there. So what is a stable coin? This is the WEF. They're telling us that stable coins are programmable and form a smart contract. This is the IMF deputy director that would tell us that CBDC is programmable and form smart contracts. What's the difference? Now here are his words.
That is, CBDC can allow government agencies and private sector players to program, to create smart contract, to allow targeted policy functions. For example, welfare payment. For example, consumption coupon. For example, food stamp. By programming CBDC, those money can be precisely targeted for what kind of people can own and what kind of use this money can be utilized. For example, for food.
As the financial system gets more controlling and more invasive, it's a little bit like bringing up a corral around us. And CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and vaccine passports or digital IDs are sort of the last shutting of the gate. It's hard for many people to imagine the risks here because we're so used to living with financial transaction freedom. And we don't understand that when this gate closes on us, we literally will be sitting in a system where the central banks believe that our assets belong to them and they can dictate where we can spend money and what we can spend money on.
The United States has the world's reserve currency, and the world's reserve currency is now going to be digital money. So what will that mean? The implication is that the world's currency will automatically become digital, because the only way that you'll be able to transact with the US government is using digital payment only in this platform.
Let me inform you about a vote that I'm very concerned about, the Genius Act that the Senate passed. President Trump is demanding we pass it in the House. The Genius Act has a backdoor capability into a central bank digital currency. So there's things happening extremely fast, and these are things that regular Americans just are largely against. We don't want a central bank digital currency. We don't want a future government or administration that can turn our bank account on and off, and take our tax money without our agreement.
Listen, dear friends, the system is now here. Not will come, it's here. What Trump is doing, he's really fulfilling and implementing the very agenda of the UN with this stable coin, crypto law. Why? Because the UN Agenda 2030 is the PayPal agenda. Look at agenda number 1, our common agenda policy brief, a global digital company, an open, free, and secure digital future for all to make society digital only. And in 2023, United Nations says we have 7 years to have this agenda accomplished. And here we have the European Union telling us that by October 2025, they will have the digital wallet. And Trump beat them by 1 month. ECB targets October to finish digital euro preparation phase. Lawmakers recently raised concerns regarding the digital euro. God is doing something. He is providentially allowing this crisis to take place so that people's focus will be turned on end-time prophecies and our great hope of the second coming.
And Sean, this is really a move toward a CCP-style social credit system. And they're using this move to a central bank digital currency. If you overstep perhaps your monthly carbon footprint,
right,
or if you say something that the government doesn't like, you engage in wrongthink, they'll be able to turn off your access to your own money. So you will not be able to buy or sell anything.
You're shut out of the economy if you're a
You are
wrong-thinker.
shut out of the economy.
We're told in Revelation 13, verse 17, that there will come a time when the whole world will come together and mandates will be enacted, and anyone that stands up against it, it says that no man might buy or sell save he that has the mark of the beast. And so once we have this global digital ID or digital currency, whatever it may be, it'll give us the infrastructure that's needed to be able to cut off people's ability to buy or sell if they stand up against mandates and government authorities that go against the law of God. We're told in John chapter 14, verse 29, "Now I have told you before it comes to pass, that when it comes to pass, you might believe." God gave us prophecy so that when we see these things come into existence, we can recognize the authority and the validity of the Bible. And unfortunately, prophecy is not being taught in many of our churches, and it's important that people open up the Word of God, who is trying to warn us of events that are about to take place, so we can prepare physically, healthfully, mentally, but the most important, spiritually. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whosoever believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life.